25 trophies, 8 league titles and 4 European trophies. Ray Parlour has signed an extended 1-year contract, and Jose Mourinho has signed for talkSPORT.
I can't believe you got to take a pay cut now as well.
You know, he just...
Oh, well.
Oh, no.
He's different. Oh, he can't believe
so
it.
Jose is going to be part of the
Fantastic.
network's extensive coverage of the Euros, Trev and Ray, starting 6 weeks today. I met him yesterday. Jose will be with listeners across the schedule from talkSPORT's live Euro game day programmes to regular slots at breakfast, which include pre-game insight, exclusive post-game phone-in for talkSPORT listeners. Will be part of the team for all 3 England group games, 1 last 16 game, 2 quarterfinals, 1 semi-final and the final. He told me yesterday Scotland will beat England at Wembley. From Sergio Ramos to John Terry and Paul Pogba to Fabregas and Cristiano Ronaldo to Zlatan, Mourinho has managed them all. Do you know what? I have to say, I know Tottenham fans, I don't care. When you have a history of winning that man has done, and I go back in Seville when Porto beat Celtic and then next year won the Champions League, the guy's record is amazing, and it was a joy to meet him yesterday, Trev and Ray. A joy, absolute joy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I had the same kind of experience when we played in the game for Grenfell. I was expecting, a very big ego walking in the door in the changing room at the Cayenne Prince Foundation Stadium for this game that we played. There was a lot of stars there, and he was the most humble, had no ego, and it was an absolute pleasure to meet. And I was quite shocked because he played later on in the game. He played in net, and he was getting his fullbacks high. He was organising things from the goalkeeping area, and then he had a decent strike on him. He could put the ball on the floor inside the box and clear the halfway line. He was just a good guy to be around. He came around and shook everyone's hand. And what a signing that is for talkSPORT.
Well, I tried to get him to Bull Lane in the city with me yesterday, but he wasn't having it. Oh, Alan, I see what you do today, Parlour. No, thank you.
Well, I think he's learnt off Sir Bobby Robson as well, Al, who you worked under. So that's where he learnt his trade. He's a little bit of an old school, isn't he? He's an old school manager.
Records,
25 trophies. That first spell at Chelsea. God, what a team they had. I mean, Lampard, Terry, Drogba.
By the way, he will be back soon, right? But my guess is, and I'm not giving anything away because...
What league will he go?
I spoke to him in confidence about a few things. It won't be in this country. That's all I'm saying. But he will get back very soon.
Would he be somewhere like...
I don't know, Ray. I didn't. If I'd got a couple of Stellas down on, maybe he'd have told me. But he wasn't having it. He wasn't having it.
No, that is a good signing, and I'm sure it'll give you an in-depth look at how he used to work. That's what you want to get out of him. How do you deal with players and all them big egos he had? He had to deal with, which was he always seems to deal with them no problem at all.
So delighted to say he'll be with us at talkSPORT with exclusive insight from the dressing room to the dugout. For more on what it's like to face Jose in the sidelines, we're joined now by a man that's faced him, Borough manager Neil Warnock. Neil, good morning.
Morning, Neil.
Good morning, Neil.
God, I've not spoke to you for ages, Neil. How are you?
All right. I've been keeping a low profile, getting on with my job, Alan. You know what I mean, up here.
A wee bit disappointed, Neil, looking at the table now with a couple of, a few draws that could have been 3 points. You might be in there looking forward to playoffs.
Yeah, we've had. You always seem to lose your best players at the vital time, and we've lost a few players, but it's been our own fault, really. With the Arsenal goal last night, that second goal, we've given goals away like that, and it's unheard of, really, when you do training and then you leave your man and all sorts, and it's cost ourselves a lot of points. I know. Also, my usual gripe, Alan, we've had some horrendous refereeing decisions and all, so it's been a mixture of everything, really. But, we could have possibly been in that top 6.
Have you enjoyed it, Neil? Because, look, you got a great chairman there. It's a great club. Have you enjoyed it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think with this pandemic time, Alan, it's been a horrendous thing, hasn't it, really? And I think it's just given me something to focus, because you can't, I've not been able to do anything. We've not been able to see anybody. So it's been a lifesaver for me, I think, really. And she's enjoyed. She's come, with the dogs and that. So we've been able to get out and have a bit of time. It's been a blessing in disguise, really, at this horrible time.
Neil, obviously Jose Mourinho is going to be with the talkSPORT guys, and you've worked here as well. You know what it's all about. What was he like to manage? In a different dugout. Did he have that sort of presence? Did you have a few arguments with him at times?
No, not at all. No, they were very lucky ones at Bramall Lane. They shouldn't have beat us, and they got away with hell. And he obviously apologised and said, if that had gone right, it would have been different, and this, that, and the other. But in general, I heard one of you use the word humble. That's how he was always with me. Whether it was inviting my family in down at Chelsea after a game, or whether it was just talking. I mean, for example, over the last 6 months, I've had probably 3 or 4 messages from him. Just about little things that he's either heard me say or something else, or my teams. And people forget that side of him. He's I was gutted when he left, because I wanted him in the final, because he would have come up with something in that final. Yeah. Whereas you saw what a pathetic display it was, wasn't it? Really, at the end. And I just thought, well, you get what you pay for. You get what you deserve, really.
How do you sack a manager 6 days before a final? I don't get it, Neil.
It must have been something to do financially. They must have saved quite a few quid by him going at that date and not later.
In case he won it.
That's the only thing. Yeah, it's
Neil,
got to be financially with Daniel, and it can't be anything else.
Neil, where does he rank? Where does he rank in managers that you've played against?
Yeah, right at the very top. He is, honestly, right at the very top. And he didn't help. He was such a. It came out, when he said about the special one. I mean, that's never forgotten all that long. But you imagine all the critics and the papers. Whenever he gets a job, they're ready for him. They're ready for his record and all this, that, and the other. They forget the good that he's done, and really, without him, the newspaper business would have been a very poor place. They've milked him over the years. So I think you've got to take the good and the bad. I just think as a manager, in depth-wise, he knew how to get results against the very best. Even when he hadn't got the best, he knew how to get results. And I've got nothing but good to say about him. I hope he gets it. I said to him last time when he went to Tottenham before then, I said, can you try and get Real Madrid again? I fancy a long weekend in Spain. but he took Tottenham instead, so we're a bit lucky. He might get a nice place for me to go and visit.
Well, by the way, Neil, I don't think he's going to take too long about it. And he said to me yesterday, not betraying any confidence, he'll be back soon. He wants to get straight back in. I don't think it's going to be here, but it'll be somewhere nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why not? I don't know. I mean, he's only a young manager, really, when I look at him and what he does, and it probably suits him abroad. You don't get as much player power. I mean, over the last couple of games before he got the sack, I watched the team play. International players not giving a damn, and you mentioned, I think it was Zaka this morning. People that are going to get booked without any thought whatsoever for the teammates and other people. It's disappointing in England that you get groups of lads that you can. I remember one of my clubs in London. The players ringing the chairman up, talking about the manager, and obviously these players, some of them, you've been bombed out, so they're not going to say anything good, are they?
No.
And they get together, and then they go and see the chairman, and then the chairman, is he losing the dressing room? Then they talk to the physios and everybody else, and before you know where you are, you've gone. And when it gets like that, I think, well, be careful what you wish for, me, Tottenham fans. Like I have done, you know what I was like, Alan, about Wenger. I always said about Wenger, you'll never replace him in a rush. I used to say, be careful what you wish for. You can't tell me Arsenal play better football now than what they did in Wenger's time.
Correct.
Not in a million years.
Yeah.
Neil, what was his best side, Neil, you played against? Was it when he was at Chelsea, that first spell at Chelsea, or Manchester United when he won a couple of trophies? What was his hardest side you played against?
No, the Chelsea side. I mean, they just had everything. They had quality players. They had a bit of nasty streak, that desire. You know what it's like. You mentioned Vieira today. You've got to have a streak where you win. To be a winner, you've got to have something different. It's no good just being a good player. You've got to have that desire that when you go out, you want to be the best. You want to show them and put them in the place. And he always had that. I thought his players looked up to him before a game and thought, wow. I remember people talking about Clough to me when I first started. I was at Notts County. And I think it was Willie Carlin said to me one day, if I saw him across the other side of the road, I wouldn't pass the time of day with him. But on a match day, before the game, I would go through a brick wall for him. And I think Jose was liked a bit more than Brian Clough was. But in the same thing, I think the players would die for him. And that's why I think he was disappointed at Tottenham with some of the players' attributes, because they didn't give him his all then.
No. Neil, great to talk again. Thank you very much, Neil.
Good luck,
Have
Neil.
a great end to the season, mate. We'll talk soon. Our thanks to Neil Warnock, a man who's gone toe-to-toe with Jose on the touchline. A reminder of the breaking news: 25 trophies, 8 league titles, 4 European trophies. Jose has signed up for talkSPORT. It'll be part of the network's extensive coverage of the Euros starting 6 weeks today. Just 6 weeks.